Hello, everyone, and welcome to the best and worst of Walt Disney World. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Mr. Charles Boda.
Hello.
Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And back in the nook, our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hello.
Are you paddleless for this?
Yeah, I put my paddles back there. I could grab them.
Okay, you're gonna need your paddles because if you're gonna be on, you're gonna do it with like the rest of us.
It's hard. I need two hands for this.
No, you don't.
I do.
He's never used that sentence before in his life. So, obviously, if I'm talking about paddles, I am talking about one of our Sucks Doesn't Suck shows. We have been doing this around the Magic Kingdom. It's kind of where we've been focused recently. We're going to continue that today with a look at Frontierland. If you don't know how this works, I will throw out something from Frontierland. We have not discussed this before time. And the guys have a matter of seconds to hold up a paddle that says either suck or doesn't suck. Or I did that backwards, didn't I? I don't know. And then we'll talk about it, why it sucks or doesn't suck. And then I will decide who is right and who is wrong. The person with the least amount of correct answers is fired at the end of the show. I'm kidding. Although maybe today I'm not. I don't know. I'm unpredictable. All right, so let's start off with... Oh, by the way, before we get started, somebody wanted to know why I didn't just get paddles made up that had both of these on one paddle, because this was cheaper. That's why. Plus, it gives me two devices by which to slap these guys around when I feel like it. And so if one's just closer, it's easier to have more of them around. So, all right. Moving on, we're going to talk about Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. We're going to start off with an easy one. Splash Mountain. Sucks, doesn't suck. And unanimity all around. Doesn't suck. Rhino, why not?
So it took me until I lived here to go on this ride, so I was definitely well into my 20s because I was always afraid of rides with drops, flume rides and stuff like that. Specifically, I was tricked onto as a child by my mother. So I was like, nope, this is stupid. It goes up and it comes down. This is lame. And so when I finally went on it, I was like, wow, there is a whole ride in this tree. It's not just a climb up and drop down. It's like a whole story, and you're going down a river, and I just was kind of blown away and was like, wow, I missed out on this for 20-something years because I was too big of a baby to go on.
What do you think about the fact that the story that this is based on, which is Song of the South, is not available for purchase in the United States?
Yeah, I think that's a bold move on the part of year did Splash Mountain get built? In the 80s?
This was built
89.
in the 80s. I think it was like 89.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that they chose a title that they had already known was
Verboten.
Yeah, and so the fact that they were like, oh, you know what? Let's make an attraction out of this. I have seen them since release some stuff about Brer Rabbit that tries to be like, well, see, we do have tie-in stuff, but
Well, the main reason for it, if you're one of the people who was able to see Song of the South, I was as a kid, it is racially insensitive. So Disney, I don't know that Disney made the decision not to release it. I think the NAACP made the decision that Disney was not going to put that out when, in the Eisner era, when they were just kind of going through the vault and releasing everything on VHS. This one had come up for consideration and was shot down. But they did make this attraction based on it. Steve, why do you think it doesn't suck?
It definitely doesn't suck. I think it's one of my favorite attractions. It's not one that I go on as a local very often, as much as when I'm here on your once a year vacation, getting soaking wet isn't that big of a deal. But being a local, I don't ride it as much. That being said, it still doesn't suck because it's a super long attraction. So you get even if it's a somewhat long wait, I think when the ride is long, it's kind of worth the wait because at least I think it's like 16 minutes or something like that.
It is a long ride. And it's a long ride that's out of the sun for the most part. It's kind of cool, and you do get wet. Unfortunately, if it's hot enough that you want to cool off and get wet, It's going to be humid, which means you're not going to dry off anytime soon.
Wait, I want to correct myself. I think 16 minutes is Disneyland's Pirates. So I don't know how long it is, but it is pretty long.
Yeah.
And I mean, the animatronics are silly and fun, and I like that. Like Rhino said, there's multiple drops. It's not just the one drop, so you kind of get multiple thrills out of it. I always sit in the back because I don't like to get drenched. But yeah, doesn't suck. I love it.
Craig?
Yeah, it's just one of the most well-rounded Disney attractions. It features iconic music, animatronics that, while they're not always in the best shape, they are still there and present. It has those moments where, if you were talking to other Disney fans about it, you could easily just say like, oh yeah, when Brer Bear is all strung up, and everyone would know exactly what you mean right away. It has that, and then it also has the thrills, but it's also not too scary for families at the same time too. So it's so well rounded. It's hard not to like it.
Charles, what about you?
I say it doesn't suck, and I'm basing that off the fact that it is a really well done ride, but I'm kind of like Steve here. I don't ride it a lot. It's very well done, but the one thing about water rides is anything that has like a splash, especially in the legs, is in Florida, you dry off really quickly, but I'm always wearing jeans, and then like nothing's ever the
You
same
dry off
again.
when it's humid out?
Huh?
You dry off quickly when it's humid out?
With the sun, the jeans will dry off, but the problem is that everything underneath the jeans doesn't dry, and it bunches up, and it's never the same, and I'm uncomfortable for the rest of the day. So I love this ride, but I never go on it.
And there's your visual for this week's show.
That was tamer than I had thought about explaining it.
Okay,
So-
good. We all appreciate that. Let's move next door to this attraction, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Okay. First of all, I have to weigh in on the Splash Mountain. Correct answer was doesn't suck. Everyone gets a point. On Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, again, a unanimous consent. Charles, why does this ride not suck?
It's clearly fun. It's just a great ride. It's enjoyable, like as far as family rides are concerned, and like a family coaster where it's not like your heart sinks up in your chest thrilling or anything, but it does have a lot of moves and turns and drops and everything. The queue that leads up to it and the big, is what the proper word is for like the
depot?
The depot warehousey demolition place. That is really cool, and it's fun to wait in, and also mostly shaded too, so you get that. But it's really well themed. The music that leads up to it is fun. It is just a fun ride. It's enjoyable. I kind of wish it would be longer, and I wish World had that one scene that we don't have here with the dynamite and everything. But yeah, I've never had a bad time riding. I've never been sad that I waited to ride it. It's great.
How long a wait is this ride worth? Like, at what point do you say no?
If you've never been on it, or if like I'm going.
I'm asking you.
If I'm going, honestly, I still give it with a good 45 minutes.
So you would wait. You have no trouble waiting 45 minutes for this ride.
I have no trouble waiting 45 minutes for this ride.
All right, Craig. What about you?
It's kind of what Charles said with it. It's a fun family coaster. I think it's one of those. It's a great first roller coaster for younger kids.
Better than Seven Dwarfs Mine Train?
I personally would say yeah, because it delivers on more fronts. It's like if I took a kid on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for the first time, because of like the slow dark ride portions and then the fact that it's just a couple loops back and forth, I mean, I'd argue that Barnstormer is almost on the same intensity as Mine Train. Whereas Thunder Mountain might not have the thrill aspect of Space Mountain because of the difference between being indoors and outdoors. But, little kids they feel the speed that's going with Big Thunder Mountain. But then at the same time, it's great because there's nothing too far off the ground. And I know that's a reason why Rhino likes it. He's afraid of heights, but it's still always based on the ground. But I think it's perfect for kids and families. And on top of that, too, you feel like you're completely lost in this wilderness when you are on it because of its location. It's perfect location. And finally, it has the iconic line as you're pulling out of the station, get ready for the wildest ride in the wilderness. And that's that's another thing, kind of like Splash Mountain, things we've talked about before. When you can have those iconic scenes or lines, just takes it to the next level.
And it's not it's a roller coaster that wimps can go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I include myself in that because I will not do the crazy ones.
Yeah.
And Big Thunder Mountain is one I'll do. You mentioned that Rhino's afraid of heights, and I just thought to myself, what a great vlog that would be for you two to go on Kraken over at SeaWorld.
Never.
I love Kraken.
I actually like it, and you and I have a lot of well, I like heights, but I don't like drops. You and I have some similar stuff there, and I love Kraken.
No, thank you.
Yeah, but the four of you need to be punished, and I'm thinking of ways to do that. So that may be one of the ways.
He just got me to go on. It was Tower of Terror. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
Which is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, you
which
love-
do
no
all
way. I think that I like Guardians of the Galaxy way better than our Tower of Terror.
But it's the
now.
same ride vehicle.
His nerdery overtakes his fear, and I respect that about him. Like,
And fish don't do it for me.
All right, the blood is running out of Steve's arm because ever since I asked the question, the paddle has been held in the air. So, Steve, why does this ride not suck?
Craig addressed it a little bit, but it meets that like perfect middle ground where it's scary enough that adults enjoy it, but not so scary that kids can enjoy it. So it's that perfect middle ground. So that's a huge plus. The only thing that almost hesitated me to say this was that, like Soarin' Around the World, there are worse seats. In this attraction, if you were in the front row, you can get like sometimes halfway down a hill before the chain lets go from the chain that takes you up to the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So there are worse seats in this ride.
The further
but
back
that-
you sit, the more continuing momentum
Yeah.
you feel.
So the back is
back is much
the
better.
back is much better, and that's almost true on any like wooden roller coaster too.
I do that anyways because even on Rock and Roller Coaster, even though that's not the same type of a roller coaster because it's a launch roller coaster versus like this one being the chain, it tail whips. So the back always seems faster,
But-
no matter what.
that's good to know, though, if you do have a kid who is scared and a little nervous about the drops or everything, or if you're a little wimp when it comes to roller coasters. I didn't mean little wimp. I meant like a little wimpy. That sounded judgy. But when it comes to roller coasters, that maybe sitting in the front is where you want to start out on your first try, so that way you don't have like going over the hill part. It kind of like leads and eases you down. So if you got scared kids, maybe sit in the front.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
What did you say?
Oh, the correct answer is doesn't suck. So everybody gets a point. So no demerits so far. Let's talk about a counter service restaurant. Pecos Bill's. Okay, doesn't suck all around. That kind of surprises me because I know some people are on the fence about Pecos Bills. I'm not. The correct answer is, in fact, it does not suck. Rhino, why doesn't this restaurant suck?
When they redid the menu a couple years ago, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it really became that more Tex-Mex kind of orientation. I don't know. It really elevated it for me. I feel like you're really getting your money's worth there because there's a good variety, but then you can't beat their toppings bar because it's not just like lame. They have like everything you want to put on it, and essentially, I have eaten there several times. It's actually my go-to like quick service place in the Magic Kingdom, but I find that if I order a meal and I'm there just by myself and I put all those toppings and everything into that, I am so full that I can't finish the meal, and that's like a lot for me. So I enjoy that, and they had a secret menu for a hot second there too, so I respect a place that has a secret menu.
Steve?
Doesn't suck. Like Rhino said, it has a toppings bar, which is great. This place is a little bit more expensive than some of the other quick services at in the Magic Kingdom, but I think it's well worth the extra $1 or $2 to get tacos that you could just load
I
on.
think it's like you're getting. I would argue that it's the quick service location that you get your most money's worth out of it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saying even though it costs that extra $1 or $2, it's worth the cost. And I think you can also, if you're not super hungry, you could have 2 people split like a fajita plate.
Yes, I do. You feed your family on the toppings bar. pickles and cups of peppers.
Charles?
It doesn't suck for most of the reasons that have been mentioned. Just food for price per value. It's great. The selection isn't like wide and wondrous or anything, but everything I've had there is good. I don't feel sick afterwards. And like Stephen Rhino, I am trash and will load up on the toppings bar in lieu of spending like extra money at a different place. So if you want to hit up a toppings bar, I'm your Pico de guy, yo.
That was horrible.
It was meant to
I'll
be.
tell you that.
I apologize for nothing.
Yeah, really. Hold on. Back to him.
Oh.
All right. Correct answer is doesn't suck. This is crazy. 3 things. Everybody's in agreement. Let's see if we can throw a curveball here. Tom Sawyer Island. Answers, please.
This is tough.
Okay, there we go. We've got a split room. Rhino, you say it sucks. Why?
It's not. I'm more on the line with it. I don't ever really want them to get rid of it. I like the idea of the rafts bringing you somewhere else and special. But since I haven't gone to Disneyland and like seeing theirs, they have like some interactive elements on their island that I feel like have actually been taken away from our island. So I feel like our island is like the forgotten area of Magic Kingdom with everything going on everywhere. I feel like they could be adding more to it. I don't ever want them to get rid of it, like I said, but it just I feel like it doesn't have that magic it used to have. I don't know.
Charles, you said it doesn't suck.
I said it doesn't suck. And this is one of those points where I know a lot of this is based off nostalgia, but I think it's something that kids get more than adults do, is the raft trip over is like really fun and seems much more expansive than it does to me now. Now it's just like I could probably jump that distance, it feels like. No, I can't. I'm unathletic. But like I could swim it in like 2 minutes. But when I was a little kid, getting on the raft and going over through the experience, and it felt like you were going to someplace different. And I think it could do with updates and maybe some changes. But I'm glad it's there, and I just have a lot of positive memories. And I know kids are still getting that. Like it doesn't. Also, it's based on a literary intellectual property. Or rather, not. I don't even think it's an IP anymore. I think it's fair use. But anyway, it's based on a literary character, which I think is cool because reading is fundamental. Reading's good, and I think that anything that gets kids invested in that is probably makes for a good attraction.
All right. Steve.
I'm saying sucks. It's good old-fashioned fun, but guess what? Kids don't enjoy good old-fashioned fun anymore. And you know what? It just needs an update. I think that going over an event, like going on a little, exploring and having a little adventure over there is pretty cool. But they just, like Rhino was saying, there needs to be more over there because.
Do they have food over there?
No.
It closed.
Oh, I thought
That's
there
right.
was a
And
little window or
Polly's
something, right?
and Polly's closed.
Yeah.
And that was some awesome fried chicken over there.
I think that's a big mistake because that's what I want to do over there is go have a picnic.
Huge mistake.
Huge.
Yeah. If you could get a food and like get a rocking chair and sit on rivers.
If you can get a food.
Get a food and get a rocking chair.
1 unit of food, please.
If
Can
you
I have a food, please?
get food and go to a rocking chair and just sit on the rivers of America, that'd be perfect.
I want to see that on Twitter, aimed at Steve. # get a food.
Hey,
That will be how we will describe
had a
when we're
food
going out to eat. We're going to get a food. Craig, what do you say?
It doesn't suck at all. Steve just said that kids don't enjoy it anymore, but anytime I go over there, I see kids running around because they're in a safe area where parents don't have to really worry, kind of like all the playgrounds and stuff around there. It's just one giant outdoor playground, and kids love running around there. Kids love going through the caves.
In fairness,
love
they get
exploring
injured there quite a bit.
They do, but it doesn't matter if
That
they
builds
have fun.
character.
That's
It doesn't
still the
matter
point.
if the child's injured or
A lot
not.
of blood head injuries there.
And so it's first, Tom Sawyer Island is again, it's a playground. It's a big, giant playground for people to explore. It's for parents to get enjoyment out of watching their kids. It's for kids to have fun. And I still have fun going there as an adult, too. Like, I think of my nostalgia of it going through the caves and thinking that they were never ending and getting lost. Now I go in as an adult, you can basically see the other side of the cave as soon as you step in, and I have to struggle to get my gut through there. And so that's always exciting. But yes, Tom Sawyer Island's not for everyone. That doesn't mean it sucks, though. It's just not for you.
I just mean it needs an update. Is really what I wanted.
Yeah, I think it just
I
needs
wanted them to
an
do
update,
what
too.
they did at Disneyland.
The correct answer sucks. And here's why it sucks. First of all, with the crowds the way they are in the Magic Kingdom, this area could be a great outlet for moving some of those crowds out of some of the more congested areas of the park. But this Tom Sawyer, I think kids probably do enjoy it to a point. I think you get a lot more kids and a lot more enjoyment if the intellectual property on the island was something kids actually wanted to experience.
Exactly.
Right now, it's just a playground. And that's great, but I think it's the Magic Kingdom, and I think they can do better than just a playground. I think it's a huge mistake that they closed Aunt Polly's. That again, especially because it was famous for the fried chicken. It was a great view. It was an unusual view where that was.
Yeah.
Kind of catty corner to Haunted Mansion. So you get this really cool view of that side of Liberty Square. And again, I think just from a crowd management perspective, they could, should, and need to update that with something more appealing. That's a lot of space there. They can do something really cool with it. Right now, it's just there. It's just this thing in the middle of the river. The argument could be made all of the Magic Kingdom is ultimately a playground. But I just think they need to do something different with it. I think Tom Sawyer's time has come and gone. You're right, it is in the public domain.
Elsa's Frontier Adventure.
Yeah, real well. I would.
Woody, Woody's thing. I don't know. There's got to be another
There's a
adventure
whole.
movie.
There's plenty of IP out there. Pirates of the Caribbean, for God's sakes. You could
they added
do
that.
something. You
Yeah.
could do something really cool. I mean, I know they kind of do something piratey over there now, but
Disneyland.
Disneyland.
in
they do,
Disneyland.
yeah.
But kind of changing it all up. Making it more. Utilize that IP on that island. What are you gonna say, Carl?
When's the last time anyone's been over there in this room?
It's been a little while.
Probably
I think
6
within
months.
the last year.
Your uncertainty is telling. I think you need to go re-experience it, especially in the summer crowds.
Okay.
That's
All right,
fair.
that's a good point. That's fair. I will do that. Until then, it sucks. All right, last but certainly not least, Country Bear Jamboree. Unanimous consent does not suck. Why does this not suck, Craig?
Because it's the absolute funniest show in the Magic Kingdom. There is nothing that provides more entertainment than it. It is so dirty and raunchy. And yes, the issues in the sound quality it's bad. I wish they would get the love it deserves sometimes, but the show is just hilarious from start to end. So, yeah.
A little risque, too.
Oh, all the guys who turn me on turn me down, and Big Al with blood on the.
Well, you've been saying
saddle.
that for a while.
That's I love all of it. Tears will be the chaser for my wine. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah. Charles?
It's iconic. I hope nothing ever happens. I hope when civilization burns to the ground and we destroy ourselves, that the one thing left for aliens to find of our presence is the Country Bear Jamboree.
Wow.
You really like that, huh?
It's very original. It's kind of like we've been talking a lot with a lot of the stuff in Frontierland. It is just fun. It is just a good time, and it's not something. It's because it's got that raunchy element. I avoid a lot of things that I think are going to be like hokey or overly like boring or anything like that. But no, it's just a decent, fun time. So.
Rhino?
It's like a little, like, kind of Americana, like a piece of this, like, time capsule and a thing. And, like, I guess I kind of understand why they would have gotten rid of it in California and stuff. But the one here is just, it's Florida. Like, it's just one of those things where I see the bears singing and they're talking
Okay,
about,
I completely don't get that reference. So
Have you
why?
met a Floridian? That's what we're
I
all
think
like.
they're talking about coming from Tampa or something like that in the attraction.
There are bears from Tampa, yes,
Yeah,
correct.
they bring it up, and so I don't know. It always makes me think of like, oh, this is the outskirts outside of Orlando or something like that. But I it's one of those. I do agree though. It does need a sound improvement. You know, I don't want to lose any of those original voices, but I struggle to sometimes understand what they're all saying. But I still think this is one of those. Like, I think adults. It's been around for so long that now that we've all become adults, I think we are seeing those things about it that we didn't see as kids, which is all those like
Those risque comments,
parts.
yeah.
And I don't know, they make me laugh so much, and like it seems like kids and stuff still enjoy it too because it's talking bears.
It's got rewatchability.
Yeah.
Steve?
Doesn't suck. Rhino just kind of stole my thunder at that last thing that he said is that, you know, I saw this show a bunch of times as a kid, right over my head, and then you go back and you can see why parents enjoy it so much. But as a kid, you still do enjoy it because it's just like, cool, there's silly bears up there.
Yeah.
So it works for the whole family. It's just good old-fashioned fun, and so doesn't suck.
And I absolutely agree. Does not suck. It's one of the classics, and I think the fact that I remember I only watched it for the first time like in the last 2 years. I'd never gone in.
Oh.
And I remember sitting there going, "Wow, this is a little racy
Yeah.
for Disney." I'm kind of surprised, but it was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely awesome. So there you have it. Our sucks doesn't suck list for Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom, and that will do it for this show. We'll be back with you again next week with another edition of the best and worst of Walt Disney World. Have a great week, everybody.